I don't want my internet to stay the way it is today. I don't want 45 megabits. I want gigabit service. I want it cheaper. I don't want it to be $59 a month. I want it to be $20 a month. I want the things that I want to do to work really fast. I want to have people have providers, both content and internet access providers, be flexible so that they can adapt to changing climates. Like, who had a big problem with spam 5 years ago? Not me, and I get a lot of email. Who had a 5 megabit connection 5 years ago? The insinuation that it's not a complex issue and that it's easy to regulate this sort of thing is belied by the thousands and thousands of pages of actual legislation that's out there that takes up issues that you never even dreamed could actually have an impact on anything, but they do. It's not that rare for you to have it, for me, to have a question about why something is the way it is, and it ends up leading back to these initial pieces of legislation. This legislation is really, really powerful stuff. And if we start throwing it around in ways that inhibit development instead of enhancing it's very unlikely to make us have better citizen experiences or better consumer experiences in the future. We all, I think, in this room, I don't know of anyone I've ever met who wants net neutrality to go away. There are a couple people. There's this nutty CEO of AT&T who really should learn to keep his mouth shut. Even if he's thinking these things, he shouldn't be talking about them. Because if he hadn't made that speech, we would all be blissfully unaware of the possibility of him actually implementing this stuff. So maybe it's great that he said that, and maybe we should be afraid. But there are so many minor details of something seemingly simple, like make the net neutral. Just make the net neutral. It's not a simple issue. Something that my neighbor Jim says is he wants his internet to work the same now as in the future. And he doesn't really mean that. He means he wants it to be faster, and he wants the growth rate to continue or accelerate and things to be better in the future, like they are better now than they were. But what he really means, what I think he doesn't fully realize is that there's tons of packet prioritization and tons of little rules that get put in every ISP in the world on a daily basis to deal with local conditions, local preferences, things that consumers wanted to do today, things that citizens wanted to do today that they didn't want to do yesterday because they didn't exist yesterday. And the job of all these people, and they're really dedicated to it, is to make it so that their service is the one you choose to do these things over. And currently, every ISP does things that make the net unneutral. They do those things because they make your experience better. Actually no, they don't make your experience better. They make the vast majority of experiences better. Paul I love his show, and he is one of the few people who can really get up here and champion the people who want to produce content. And I would love it if more people wanted to produce content, and if they did, AT&T would be right there to sell you something that makes it easier for you to upload your internet service. Right now, it's not a market that exists, and that's why they don't do it. So, to summarize my point, I don't know of any right-thinking individual who wants net neutrality to go away in the sense that they conceive of it today. But the fact is, net neutrality is an incredibly complex thing. The net is not neutral now. And if we want it to continue to be able to adapt to the changing internet environment, we pretty much have to leave it that way until we find something where there's an actual problem, like in the case of this ISP where they cut out the VoIP traffic to Vonage, the voice over IP traffic. They thought they would be really clever and prevent their users from using Vonage. They tried it, didn't work, got slapped down by the FCC. That's the kind of regulation that we need in this space because it sets a clear precedent, it's flexible, and it's fast.